No, you know what the like weirdest action like combo that I've ever like done during COVID is like sunglasses with a mask on. It's like the
Glasses with a mask on.
no, not even like regular glasses. Not like sunglasses.
No, it's hard to get the flags up.
No.
I thought it was like
Regular glasses are fine, but I'm saying like sunglasses, like when you can't see the eyes, is just kind of like.
yeah, they're all covered. Yeah.
But I mean,
No, I have glasses, but I don't need them. But on my like permit says I have to like
Assalamu alaikum
mask
warahmatullahi.
and glasses. So the whole
Inshallah, we're going to start in a few minutes. If you could all please take your seats, your mask on at all times, and food will be distributed by our volunteers at 7:30. Inshallah. Thank you. We're going to start in a few minutes.
that wasn't just me.
The worst thing is when they don't and then you end up hitting it and you can actually feel it hit you.
I remember in like fifth grade, we had one of those like portable classrooms, you know what I'm talking about? And there's just this big room that just kept on going, hitting the freaking window.
Oh, it's a live stream. They can hear us. Oh, yeah.
do you actually know what this is?
Okay.
Sorry, complain though.
I don't have house No, we have mosquitoes.
Those are the worst. No, mosquitoes literally like actually.
They like curds. They like curds.
Say what?
They like curds.
They like curds?
Yeah, and like we saw like in our backyard, like we playing down has curds, and then my aunt's house right next to it because it's curds.
They actually don't. Like my mother's like, she was like, yeah, mosquitoes are the real enemy because they don't do anything.
Except for
Spread disease, that's all they do. And listen, I know this now. That doesn't give you permission to start draining.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For the second time, could we all please take a seat? We're going to be starting very soon.
No, so they weren't just you're talking about mosquitoes. You know, I know that like obviously all of these they said that all the time.
my ears are really good.
No, but see, the reason this is like stupid is because they provide food and pollination, but they provide them with other animals that can't do. So I can't go to the other research. I just like to play with mosquitoes.
How do you?
I don't even know this is the actual I never thought about
I
that.
know it contributes to survival of the fittest.
Those are just like creating them for a reason and then we'll
Okay. Why is where's the organic matter? You're not gonna find that meat.
How does that get out?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. We are here today in a joint effort to do our fair share of contributing to the cause of our Palestinian brothers and sisters. As you all know, the besieged Gaza Strip has recently been bombarded by the Israeli occupation regime, leaving hundreds dead and unfortunately, many of them women and children. We've seen countless videos from the ground being reshared on social media, leaving us heartbroken. My dear brothers and sisters, the least we can do is ensure that they still have access to clean water, food, electricity, and housing. This is why we are here today. Inshallah, we will start the event with a Quran recitation by Brother Adam Mansour.
Assalamualaikum. I'm going to read Surah Al-Mulk, the first 5 ayahs. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallahu khairan, Brother Adam, for that Quran recitation. Now, if I could please call up Brother Ahmad al-Mutawa, one of the main organizers of the event.
Assalamu alaikum, bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. We're excited to have you all here, inshallah, for a great cause. And jazakumullah khair. My job, inshallah, to introduce our MC of tonight and also to thank the Muslim Youth Group of the Islamic Society of Orange County for this great initiative and a great effort to fundraise for Gaza on behalf of the Zakah Foundation of America. We'd like to thank him. And our MC of tonight is the brother Khalid Sadiq. He is the Vice President of MYG, the Muslim Youth Group of ISOC of the Islamic Society of Orange County. And mashallah, he's been involved with the community. He's OCS alumni. He was part of the Fountain Valley MSA, mashallah. And we'd like to thank the board of MYG, they see themselves at this table, mashallah, for their efforts in putting this together. And we'd like to thank the volunteers who actually came early to set up this beautiful setup that you see here. And jazakumullah khair and enjoy the program. Jazakumullah khair.
Well, Jazakallahu khairan, Brother Ahmad, you're far too kind. Our next speaker is Brother Shakil Sayyid, who, mashallah, is the regional director for the American Muslims for Palestine in the West Coast and a lifelong human rights advocate. Brother Sayyid has traveled to occupy Palestine several times until 2017, when Israel banned him for his support for BDS, boycott, divestment, and sanctions. Currently, Brother Sayyid serves the Board of Clergy and Laity for Economic Justice and has served as the founding executive director of the Islamic Shura Council of Southern California and as the vice president of CLU Southern California. So, Brother Shakil Sayyid, if you could please come up.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulil kareem. Amma ba'd. I join Khalid and Brother Ahmad in thanking all of you for taking the time out today, Saturday evening, for a cause that is so dear to our hearts. Many of us have traveled, many of us come from that place called Gaza. And today we have gathered really to celebrate the resistance and the resilience of our brothers and sisters from Gaza who continue to refuse proudly and rightfully against occupation of an apartheid regime by the name Israel. But today, really, we all know what has happened over the course of particularly last month and a half. But that's not all the story. There is so much more to the story. So you can go back as far back as 70 years, 80 years, 100 years, or as far back as 15 years since 2005, when was became an open prison that we all know very well. Men, women, and children, young and old, they have a different life. They have a life that is much different than the life that we all are accustomed to. So we came today, we parked our cars and we walked comfortably and we were welcomed. We are sitting in our respective places. In a short while, we will have good meal. And after a little bit, we will go and pray and then we'll go back home. We may even have ice cream after we go home. And then we enjoy a very restful sleep until tomorrow. That's our life. But the life of the people in Gaza is dramatically different that we can't imagine in the slightest way. They don't know what would be their next meal. They wouldn't know whether they would be able to get up alive in the morning. They wouldn't be able to know if in the middle of the night they or their children or their parents or grandparents, if they don't feel well, that they would be able to go to a doctor or visit a hospital. So their lives are completely and dramatically different. And people who live in the United States, like all of us, are responsible, literally, and I want to underscore and highlight this, that each one of us are directly responsible and complicit in the crimes that are being perpetuated in our name upon the people in Palestine, period. And there are many ways to justify that statement that I just said. And then on the other hand, as Muslims, as followers of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we are spiritual brothers and sisters. So we have that moral and religious responsibility toward the people in Palestine as well. So today, each one of us can look into ourselves and figure out what are the few things that I can do? What are the things that I can do to mitigate, to alleviate the suffering of the people in Gaza in particular and Palestine in general, but particularly in Gaza. I believe I was looking at briefly the brochure of Zakat Foundation, which is on your tables, housing, education, and healthcare, and so on and so forth. For 15 plus years, nothing can go in and nothing can come out. I've had the honor, as Brother Khalid had mentioned, to go to Palestine a few times until 2017, when I had the distinction of being the first Muslim American to be banned as national security threat for the sixth nuclear state of the country. And I take that as a badge of honor. When I die, I go in front of Allah, and if you ask me what are the two things you did, I keep a photocopy of the band by the minutes. But the point is that each one of us, unless and until we, from the depths of our heart, we recognize the dehumanization of a people, we will be overwhelmed and overoccupied with the nitty-gritty of the occupation. Whether there is a checkpoint, whether there is a wall, whether there is an outpost, whether there are settlers, all of these indeed are an integral part and parcel of the occupation in general. But let's say there is no occupation tomorrow, and this is my argument as a human rights activist. Let's say there is no occupation in Palestine, there is a state, there is military, there is airport, there is seaport, there is trade, there is commerce, there is all of those things. But if the people next door believe that you are lesser of a human being, then in my opinion, occupation has not ended. Dehumanization of human being, considering somebody else to be lesser of a human being than you, is a crime against humanity, is a crime against your creator. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us, لَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Not Bani Yahud, not Bani Masihi, not Bani X and Y. all children of Adam deserve and have been blessed with and by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself as equal dignity. No one of us is superior or inferior than the other than by virtue of what we do and what we don't do. By virtue of what you did today is an expression of that iman, or expression of that thankfulness and gratefulness to Allah that yes, you have honored me and I do this. Right? So in Palestine also, in the occupied Palestine, whether in West Bank or whether in Gaza, unless and until the full realization of the humanity of the people in Palestine is complete, the occupation has not ended. Sure, the bombing has ended after 10 days, but the real suffering begins after the bombing stops. When men, women, and children begin to say, count the family members, how many are alive and how many have become shaheed. And then we go into the rubble and see, where are the toys of my children? Where are the earrings of my mother? That's where the suffering is. The suffering, not that the bombing has stopped after 10, 11, 12 days, 260 plus men, women, and children innocent, right? People have been killed in broad daylight. No one has apologized as of today, including our country that we pay taxes to. And that's where our complicity begins. Not only that, after killing hundreds of innocent people, then the brazenness and the arrogance and the hubris of these people is that they come to us, as the United States, and say, the bombs and the missiles that we have used to kill people, we need to replace it in our stocks, and therefore we need $750 million from all of you. That's your money, and that's my money. That's where we collectively are complicit in the war crimes that are being perpetrated in our name. Now, $750 million is peanuts for the United States. Why? Because we have been giving, for the last 30 plus years, $3.8 billion every year. The only country who receives our aid and who is not held accountable for how that money is used is the apartheid state of Israel. $3.8 billion. So on top of the $3.8 billion, we need to now pay them $750 million worth of missiles and bombs so that they can rebomb again. And then they ask brazenness. I mean, it is the hubris is like the hubris and the arrogance of Pharaoh, where the common sense, the logic just does not work. And then they ask for another $1 billion to be used for the purposes of, quote unquote, the Iron Dome shield. So the homemade rockets that comes out of Gaza in self-defense can be stopped through this Iron Dome shield. So this is the hubris, this is the level of arrogance and sense of superiority, that our life is so much superior than the life of the other, that we will kill you first, we will imprison you second, and then we will make sure that you pay us for killing and imprisoning you. So now I ask Allah and thank Allah in a very oxymoronic way, that if I was to be a Palestinian and living in Palestine, and if I were to see my mother, my father, my parents, my grandparents, my children, my grandchildren, my neighbor, my best friend is being butchered in broad daylight, you ask me for peace, I'll say, no, I'm sorry, I'll fight until I gain the dignity and honor of my children and grandchildren. I don't know any human being who has the basic human sense and dignity would turn the other cheek. But short of doing that, because we are in a distant land, we are in a place where we can do some things and where we can do some things. What we can figure out ways via which we can contribute to alleviate the suffering of the people in whatever way we can. The easiest way is to write a check. Easiest way. Whether I write a $2 check or a $2 million check, that's the easiest thing. And we know that we are reminded, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ, right? Unless and until you give that which you love the most, then your expression and testament of Iman, expression and testament of faith remains incomplete. So if I want to make my faith complete, then I have an option either to give that which I love the most, whether it is time, whether it is money, whether it is talent, or whether it is my solidarity, and so on and so forth. But tonight, it's about contributing to the best that we all can to the Zakat Foundation to alleviate the suffering. But that's not enough. Can I get that one call sheet, cheat sheet? On top of that, those who we can, or those who inshallah will contribute, Jazakallah khair, we can do more than that. And this is the bare minimum that we all can do. And I have spent some time in putting this thing together for all of us. So there is no excuse, so to speak. We all pay taxes to our government. A person is elected in your name, on your behalf, in your city and in your county, who should be accountable to you, who is your servant. You pay his salary. And we have an obligation and a right to hold them accountable for the good things that they do and the mistakes and shortcomings that they also commit, and remind them. And in this case, regardless of the city that you live in, I would assume that you live in Orange County by and large. So I have put together a simple text, 67 words. It takes just about a minute if you simply read it from what I suggested. Or you can add your own words. It takes just 1 minute to call your congressional rep and say that you do not agree with the position that he or she has taken or not taken, and then you ask the position that he or she should take. I have the phone numbers of Lou Correa, Katie Porter, Michelle Steele, and Young Kim, who are the 4 different congressional reps by and large of the entire Orange County, and then there are others who live in San Diego. And then there are 2 senators who are common to all of us regardless of where we live. Senator Alex Padilla and Senator Dianne Feinstein. I have their numbers as well. And lastly, I have also the phone number of your beloved President, Joseph R. Biden, who made all of the Muslims very happy 4 years ago during the campaign, or during the campaign 2 years ago, when he said, Inshallah, all Muslims jumped up and down throughout the country and said, wow, this is great, this is wonderful, especially after the stupid Trump that we have had, and so on and so forth. Now we need to reach out to him and say, you took the word, which is very sacred, and now you're desecrating that sacredness by keeping quiet when little children are being butchered in broad daylight. And you need to make your voice heard. So I would urge you all to grab this piece of paper that is on the A&P table, take it with you, you add, you edit, you delete, whatever makes you most comfortable. But if I don't do this, there is no better way for me to say except that shame on me. I don't love people in Gaza. I don't love people in Palestine. It is just talk. Now, I don't mean to, God forbid, insult any of us or belittle any of us and of our commitment and passion for Palestine. But there are several things that people can do, and this is the least that we can do. So I hope and pray that inshallah today, we all make a commitment that if I was giving 10 minutes, I'm going to add 15 minutes. If I was giving 1 hour for Palestine, I'm going to give hour and 5 minutes for Palestine. If I was giving $100 for Palestine, then I'm going to give you $110 for Palestine. Do the little best that you can to increase it, because this means a world to the people we love. And I'll close with this. My first visit to Palestine was about 14 years ago. I prayed in Masjid al-Aqsa on the first day of my arrival, Salatul Jummah. And as is our tradition, I looked to my right, I looked to my left, and I introduced myself to the brothers who were sitting next to me, and they welcomed me with grace, with joy, and one of them moved me to the core. And for this reason, I probably stayed at least an hour plus doing sunnah, doing nawafil, praying, crying, loving that I have been blessed to pray in the Al-Aqsa. And when I'm all done and I'm coming out, the brother who was sitting next to me is waiting for me for the past hour and a half. And then he grabs my hand and says, "We're going for lunch to my house." And their houses are different than the houses that we all are blessed with. There's a room for my children, there's a room for the father and mother, there's a room for grandmother, and there's a living room, there is a family room, there's a big kitchen, there is a bathroom, so on. Their houses are different. 12 people living in a 2-bedroom place with no running water, for example. So Brother Abdul Rahman, who was my host, he took me to his house, he fed me, he treated me like a royal. Somehow he knew that I love kanafe, so he treated me with kanafe. And when I was leaving, I asked him, I live in the United States, I'm going back. What one advice you have for my brothers and sisters in the United States? And this is what he said. And this is why it is important that what we do makes sense and it matters to them. He said, Brother Sayyid, a last name, he said, please go and tell your brothers and sisters in the United States, we will defend Masjid al-Aqsa for your children and grandchildren. Please tell them to come and visit us. I hope and pray that we all, inshallah, will be praying in free Palestine one day. Jazakumullah khairan.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Jazakallah khairan, Brother Shakil Sayyid. Now we will have a spoken word from Sister Yara Musul.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name is Yara Mansoor. Inshallah you guys like this piece. 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, 4 were the last things 700,000 Palestinians heard back in 1948. You see, the problem is things never got better. We just silenced their tears as their hearts continued to shatter. These were human beings being denied basic human rights, those very human rights we take for granted every single night. 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, 4. You see, we stand here because our hearts break when we know about the bombs. Our hearts break when we hear a mother sob. Our hearts break because we will not risk Palestinian history being erased. We are here to stand for the bold. The fathers, the mothers who shielded their children from bombing, the innocent teens who were robbed of their youth. This is the truth they hide from the world, because when it comes to defending themselves, the media puts them in the wrong. The invalidation of the oppressed small retaliation is only evidence of this atrocious cycle. 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, 4. This is not about being for or against a cause. It's about having a soul, knowing right from wrong. Allah put us in this world. He gave it to us as an amana. It's our job, our duty, our right in Islam to keep this land from evil people's hands. From Gaza to Sheikh Jarrah to Al-Aqsa to Silwan, how much is enough? When will you call it quits? Our people are tired of being turned into tiny little bits. When will Palestinians get the peace they deserved? 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, 4. We protest for everyone to see the unseen, for everyone to hear the unheard, for everyone to serve the misserved. Why have we normalized ethnic cleansing? Let's stop pretending that the same group of people being attacked is a coincidence. This was planned. This was intended. This was exactly what was executed. We cannot let this news weaken us. We are closer than ever before. فَاصْبِرْ إِنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ. So be patient. Indeed, the promise of Allah is truth. And this is not up for dispute. 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, 4. This isn't about religion. This isn't about faith. It's about being a human being with a soul and a brain. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sister Yara, for that passionate spoken word. Now that we've had our speakers come up and give us some good insights about Palestine and Gaza in particular, my dear brothers and sisters, we will now begin with what we are all here for, fundraising for our brothers and sisters in Gaza. There really is nothing more to be said after what we've heard from our beloved speakers tonight. The people of Gaza need our help. Each of us complain about how the ummah of our beloved Prophet ﷺ is disunited. But where is the action to follow through with our complaints? Wallahi, this reminds me of when Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu went to the pulpit of Masjid al-Nabawi and gave a speech when he became the 4th Khalifa of our beloved Prophet ﷺ. If some of you know, he famously said, "We need a man of actions, not of words." Where are our actions, my dear brothers and sisters? What can we do here in the Western world to show that this ummah is united? Well, I'll answer that for you. We can organize fundraisers and donate to the people in need. Each and every one of us can pitch in, and I myself will start the donation process with $60. Now, for some of you who are skeptical about where this money will go, here is a video by Brother Khalil Demir, the Executive Director of Zakat Foundation of America.
I wish I did not make this country. I wish 2 million Gazans are not attacked. I wish 60,000 children of Gaza are not killed. I wish, like every Ramadan, attack on life of the Gaza will happen. I wish thousands of Gazans without water and food, suffering and sleeping in the street. I wish none of this happened. It was a dream. But unfortunately, all this happened. You know it, I know it, the world knows it. As the Zakat Foundation of America, we have made a promise to people of Gaza. Next 10 weeks, we will provide 1,000 Gazans per week for 10 weeks with food packages, water, and hygiene kits. All three of them $60 only. So I need 1,000 brain tender women who listening this video, donating $60 and make it happen next 10 weeks. Because I think we owe Gaza, we owe the people of Gaza the honor and dignity belong to them. And our prayers and our support should go to them also. So I ask you please, if you can, donate $60. If you cannot, give $5 of water. And I hope you do not forget them in your prayers. May Allah protect Gaza. May Allah protect people of Gaza. You are in our prayers and our heart is with you. Assalamu alaikum.
And now I will pass the mic to Brother Ahmed al-Mutawa, who will start the fundraising process.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. All the praise and thanks due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who gave us the opportunity, inshallah, to help on his sake, on his cause, the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And inshallah, this is not going to be an active fundraiser. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, I think Brother Shakil, he touched many points, and Brother Khalid, he introduced, Sister Yara gave you some, emotional boost. So I'm here, inshallah, Brother Khalid Dimmer, he talked about what the Zakat Foundation are doing in providing thousands, about 100,000 Ghazan minimum, inshallah, next 10 weeks, they're going to be getting food and water and hygiene kits. This $60, inshallah, will be at least for a family of 5, inshallah, going to be helping and support. But I want to do this, inshallah. We have about 50 people, mashallah, in the audience. I counted the youth who are under the age of 21, because I know, mashallah, all of you, my students or my students, they're about 26, more than half, And I know, mashallah, your parents can give. And I'm not going to ask your parents, by the way, to give today. I'm going to ask each one of those people, those young people, to commit to fundraise or to raise $60. Each, inshallah, those young people, and I'm going to start with my son, Abdurrahman, who's sitting there, who cannot, who's standing and playing, but who cannot do anything. I'm going to give on his behalf 60. But then I'm going to ask my daughters there, Asil and Asman, all your children who's under the age of 21, they are the one who's going to give today. We're going to, as an adult, we're going to stop, because mashallah we can, and I'm sure you did. And I have 2 brothers called me before we come in here. I was like, I might make it, I might not make it. Please take my money. We already have 3,000, mashallah, right? And it's not a matter, inshallah, of raising. We can raise and we will raise. But it's a matter of those youth, those volunteers who came here, inshallah, they're going to give from their hearts. Because I want to share with you a hadith, and then, inshallah, we're going to go for food. And we have yummy food from shawarma house. We have, beef shawarma or chicken shawarma plates. You can enjoy. I'm not going to take a lot of your time. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from one of the ahadith, when he talks about the day of judgment, he talks about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking to one of his servants. And I want you to imagine, especially the young people, when you are in the day of judgment, it sounds scary. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to prepare you. If you are before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask you and say the following: O son of Adam, O daughter of Adam, one day I was sick and you haven't visited me. And it's not suitable for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala today he was sick. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be sick. تنزه الله عن ذلك. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala it's not of his quality that he gets sick. So our answer would be right away, Ya Rabb, how can you get sick? How can I visit you? وَأَنْتَ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. And you're the Lord of the universe. You're the Lord of everything around us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell you now how you can visit him. He said, my servant so-and-so was sick. And if you have visited him, you would have found me there. Number one, if we have visited his servant so-and-so, we'll find them there. We'll find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala there. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say, O son of Adam, O daughter of Adam, I was hungry and I asked you for food and you did not feed me. You did not give me. And you would say, Oh Ya Rabb, how can I give you food? How can you ask for food? You don't need food. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is nothing like him and he's not like us. How can that be possible? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say, my servant so-and-so was hungry and asked you for food and you did not feed him or her. And then the third thing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say, I was thirsty and I asked you for a drink. I asked you to give me some water to drink. And guess what? You said no. And our natural answer would be, that's impossible. Oh, Ya Allah, oh Rabb, oh Rabb. You are the Lord of the universe. You're the Lord of everything. You don't need to drink. That's not suitable to you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, my servant so and so ask you for a cup of water, ask you for a drink. And if you have given him, you will have found me there. And guess what? Today, guess who asking us for that? The people of Gaza. The people who are holding the dignity and the izzah and the karam of the ummah in their hand. And wallahi, without them, we won't have karam and izzah and dignity, right? So now they're asking us and they're knocking our door saying, what do you give me? Give me, I'm injured. I need like medicine. I need food. I need water. And even hiding kids' soul. Normal things that we take for granted. They don't have. Are we going to help them? So when we go face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, Ya Allah, we did. And we did, and we did. And guess what it means when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you'll find me there. You'll find the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You'll find the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You'll find the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I'm going to, again, talk to those youth. Now you're already did some finals, taken some difficult exams. Now it's time to find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you give to those people. When you give to those people, you'll find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helping you in your grades, helping you in your study, helping you in your life, easing out your difficulty. This is what I'm sharing today, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you for coming. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless your families. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless your children. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless this gathering. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now that we've had plenty of speakers come and talk, and you all have been sitting down for quite a while, I'm sure you all are as hungry as I am. Our volunteers will now be passing out our dinner. I hope you all enjoy. Thank you for coming. Assalamu alaikum.
What's wrong with you?
Just a quick announcement as we all start to eat. We have a table right next to me. This is the Zakat Foundation table. We're accepting money through cash and checks and credit card as well. So you can just come up to the table and pitch in as much as you like. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. And for the third time, just one little quick announcement. If you're going to be giving us checks, make sure to put your phone number and email. Yeah, if you're going to be writing checks to us, please write your phone number and email. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
The last one.
Oh, it's all hard. You have the front cover. They know how to get choices.
Yeah, they really do. I can't I'm probably like just. Did you just call me? No, okay, back to this. Yeah, I'm already up there. I got you.
It's over here.
And you're cold, so you're cold on your legs. This is stretchy. All of these waters that taste bad is because they have mineral.
Okay, but like, don't all it doesn't 100% matter.
What they do, they don't do like natural ones, not artificial. But like not taste, they do it for like cleanliness and
Sorry,
Yeah, I felt uncomfortable eating. It's okay. I just went around the table. I just feel like if I'm like standing up, they're literally I'm like never kidding. I'm like always I don't think so that they have that taken care of. I think it's more just like they're gonna go around and I'm good.
I feel good. I'm feeling good. Wait, are you catching birds?
I can talk to you.
Are you gonna catch a bird?
Then you're lost, buddy.
Are you catching birds?
It honestly they're just equally as good. Like I don't disagree.
I don't like either.
it's disgusting. I'm okay with it. Honestly, I like mayo.
The thing is, like mayo, I don't have that as a sauce unless it's like already in the sauce. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't like have it as a dip.
Yeah, no, honestly, I feel like
But ranch, ketchup, or
like honestly, I just
You know what I really like? I really like meatloaf burgers. I'm not a sauce person. Except for Chipotle.
well, I mean,
pasta. People who don't put ketchup down.
I think it's disgusting.
Why?
It's like,
That's not. I always love listening to the reasons.
okay, so like the texture of it just looks so gross. And also,
How do you look at a texture and be like,
like it,
Not
like,
my
it puts me off. It puts me off. And then not just the smell of it, I really get like I hate the smell of it. It makes like
the
gas.
smell doesn't even bother me though.
I hate the smell of it. And then when you look at it, like okay, the sound of it when it comes out of the bottle. No, yeah, the whole thing. And then the sound of it when it comes out of the bottle, and you like squeeze it, and it's like, and then like it makes something like a fart sound. I hate that.
Does that work with all bottles?
Yeah, I know.
Are you trying to say it's
It just like adds on to the other things that are
Also,
oh yeah, I get it.
I just realized we did it. Usually, I'm the person who like munches on bread while they're talking. Right now, it's just like I was like, oh, this is the person who's like, they're like eating bread right now.
And then I know that like honestly, no one ever said had it, but I think it's too bad. Occasionally I'll be okay with it if it's like mixed into another like a sauce or like garnish. Yep. Other than
Yeah, I
that,
have really when I have meals, I can't like really.
so cold.
No, but okay. See, I think this is where like it's understandable because where do you live? Yeah. So it's like I live in Huntington. Yeah, people who live in Huntington, like I found out people who do live there, they are much more vulnerable to the cold than
It depends on where I am. And whenever I go back there, I find something like that. I think all like regional differences, like okay, I don't hear it here that
I was thinking of doing that, but I was like,
I was trying to get the top up and
I thought it was like something you had to like take off. That was just rip it off. So much easier. Yeah.
I mean, so it's a lot more variable. And also, I think their team is a lot more like, yeah, it's bad, like, there, but it's like the person, like, you know, when someone says, like, oh, it's going down, like, you can feel it, like, it's really weird, it's like intense, hard. Like, when I'm in English, I can say contact, because, like, if you're there and I'll find it or whatever, but here, I get really get it. Like, here, I can speak a lot better. Every when I'm there, I get but, like, they use, like, definitely a lot of, and I've heard that for a lot of people too. A lot of people, like, when they go to the it's like, very different. Like, it's still like, you still feel nice. You still go to the pool, like, on a beach. It's so horrible. Yeah. It's like,
I never been to that really.
and also like something like last really like in California.
I don't know. We're getting better. So I don't think it's necessarily like an emergency. But where are you actually? I don't like. Okay. Maybe no, I'm like right now. It's like I would be fine because like I'm the kind of person that's on the beach. And it's I can read. And he's like, this whole thing's mine. Oh yeah, I can go without a jacket. Like, we can do this. you go like 1 degree over 80, I'm done. Oh really? Oh no, I didn't like really have to heat that.
I love it. So what is like in the 90s? Like in the 100s?
Oh yeah.
It's cool. This is like,
I'm one of those people that just fight the temperature. If it's summer, I need the air conditioner on 24/7. And when it's winter, I need the heater on. Like, oh no, I just think, like in my old house, we did not have air conditioning. I was during the drought period. It was like 110 degrees, and we were literally wetting paper towels. Yeah, it
I hope you all are enjoying your food. We're just going to have a few words from the religious director of ISOC, Dr. Muzammil Sadaf.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Continue eating. I don't want to stop you from eating, but keep your ears open also. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalam ala Sayyid al-Mursaleen, Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi at-tayyibin al-tahirin. So it is very, very important, a small number or large number, that we should express our concern for our brothers and sisters. And Muslim of a Muslim. Muslim is the brother of another Muslim. All Muslims are brothers, wherever they are, whatever their nationality, whatever their race and color, wherever we are. And the suffering of anyone is suffering of all of us. We all have to be concerned. كمثل الجسد الواحد اشتكى من عض تداعى له سائر الجسد بالسهر والحمى. As our Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, suggests you are like in one body. If one part of the body has pain, the whole body has pain. The whole body joins with not being able to sleep, having fever. So we are at this time really facing a great suffering of the Muslims in different parts of the world. Suffering in China, suffering in India, in Kashmir, suffering in Burma. And of course, on the top of all of that is suffering in Palestine, which has been going on for the last 73 years. And so there is no stop to it. The people and the land, the natives, the people of the land, they are deprived of their land, of their homes, of their dignity and honor. Even wherever they are persecuted. Even in the West Bank, a few years ago when I visited, 700 checkpoints. Go to one place, another place, go there, always checkpoint. So it's very difficult life. And the people of Gaza, especially, they are in prison. Virtual prison in a small stretch of land, 20 miles stretch of land, 2 million people. And blockade, everything, water, gas, electricity, resources, everything. And what to say about Israel? Even our own Muslim brothers of Egypt, they have stopped. Well, this is the worst thing to see that. They are the ones who have stopped, much more than. That is an unfortunate situation. That's one unfortunate situation. So what you can do? Al-Mushtaka ilallah. Complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to relieve the suffering of the people. You can do all, of course, you can do a lot too. MashaAllah. People like our Shakir was arranging demonstrations, large number of people in different cities, demonstrations are happening. This is good. من رأى منكم منكرا فليغيره بيده فإن لم يستطع فبلسانه وإن لم يستطع فبقلبه. If you see something wrong, of course, try to change it. But to change, you need authority, you need power, and you cannot do that. So what you can do is speak against it, demonstrate. Or in your heart say that this is wrong, this is evil, this is absolutely injustice and it must change. So inshallah, it's going to change. And whatever way support, it's kind of small fundraisers, so inshallah, people can, it all depends how, what you can do. A small amount, sabaqa dirham dirhamain. 1 dirham sometimes is better than 2 dirhams. Because it comes out of the sincerity of the heart. So if you are sincere and you give, inshallah Allah will put the barakah. Inshallah blessings are going to come. So it will reach to someone, some people will benefit from it, inshallah. So may Allah bless the organization that is doing this work, the God Foundation of America and other organizations that are doing that. May Allah bless and may Allah bless all of you, young and old, men and women, all of them. You all have to work together. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Jazakallah khairan, Dr. Siddiqui. Now, for, I'd say maybe like the next 15-20 minutes, you all would, it would be okay if you guys keep on eating. You know, it's fine, take your time. We have around 20 minutes before Salat al-Maghrib. So, in around, I'd say 15 minutes, we're going to have Brother Ahmed al-Mutawa end this fundraiser with a short dua. But for the meantime, tafadhal, keep on eating. Assalamu alaikum.
You guys were eating, I was eating. I'm just hungry. Oh no, I was eating. You just go and stop it in the grass. Sally was like,
Someone's talking and I'm like,
yeah, that was to get someone I wanted to say.
right here.
Like cardboard trays, plastic, everything. Not in Europe. In England, you guys were uniforms. Yeah. What? You guys were uniforms. Oh yeah, but I don't like the uniforms.
Oh, how are the uniforms?
I mean, they were fine. It was like a regular school. Like a Navy. When you get into high school, because they don't have middle school, they just have primary and high school. When you have blazers, when you're younger, you have like a hard blazers instead. Okay, it was really warm though. It was actually really comfy. But you just have like a basic like white button down, and then whatever your school color is. Like you have like gray collars or like a base shirt, whatever you want. And then school color markings. So I was just getting blue, and there's like a golden purple in there, and then like whatever kids have. Like I was prefect, so I have like a shield, and then like a head boys, whatever. And then yeah, the other like. And yeah, and then like uniform shoes too. But like even if you shoes, yeah, you have to like there are like certain restrictions. But it was basically like very basic. No, we literally had to tag. So they have this thing called like a non-uniform day or whatever. I forget what it's called. But it's just like in the school. So if you're not wearing uniform, then you have to pay £1, like $1. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like go back to yeah, their meals. Like I was getting baked potatoes, and then you have like big cheese and all this stuff. Like proper like cultural pizzas or like hash. They also have free health. Good. Quick question. Yeah, but not free, sorry. Get the pay. They're like actually solid. Like most of them you have cups. They actual cups. And then like jugs with like water or jugs and like proper utensils. And then you go like stack it all and then you wash it. You know? Like how much classes do you do? I mean, I don't want to get but yeah, so I just remember not near this. Like they're doing not but like in general, this whole ours is only hard because no, but like the reason why ours is harder than the rest of the world is because I would never I don't know about private. Like the high school that I was going to go to, I went before. Nice. Like the science they have like they had like really music bunch of stuff, and I was like, whoa, you guys are big hours. Oh, wait, I think it was but yes, like that house. I was in the red house. That felt so cool. I would go. First of all, right? Green, blue, yellow. Yes. My house was called they just decided to do that. My school, yeah. Oh, when you're first entering this car, I'm not used to we came in like I don't think we came in like most people are there like their first year, right? I came in like my second year, so I don't know if there's a different way, but for us, we were oh no, they had like available spots, and then we just picked like
Like what like you should cost? Houses as in like you got points or whatever.
Oh, so that's like
I bet like it meant like I think so, but it wasn't nearly as serious as it seemed. You're with the same people? Like,
do you
no. In our it wasn't as if when you're in a uniform, right? There's nothing to like make you mistakes. She just don't know how. But it's really your house is your house. So that's when they need. So it wasn't like I don't even think there was like a prize. It was just like a friendly rivalry thing. What's it called? You're from the beginning to end. You have like you're in your one class with all your classmates, and like each class, it's not like they're gonna scramble you and the rest of the group. It's like you and that class, same people. So they never scramble you, and it's like on the one hand, like I can see where there's a benefit to that, but at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, it's definitely like what if not my video? What if it's in the other class? Where you like to use it? No, so they like the campus is like a whole block. Yeah, but like it was 3 stories high. Everything was big. It was really big. In LA and how the big cities are like it's like really high pace related area. Like yeah, it was really massive. Yeah, I didn't know it. Please don't. Yeah, you did. No, I meant right now. I'm not actually in LA. I always go there and make some fun. I get shot at. Yeah, also like when I was in the city, I had like a show one morning. And there was a staff. Yeah, that was one. And I turned around and I just see him behind the pole and I just saw him like the I heard something. I don't know. That's weird. My mom was from LA to So, the girl there invited some people from one day, and he wasn't like involved in anything, but he has to try to invite it back, but not to invite the other day. It's grass like in front of the monument in the heart. Yeah, so I was like, yeah, you can do that. And then they did even in the magnet school, like in the area I lived in, it wasn't like here where it's like, okay, recess time, go play wherever you want. There's certain stations your class had to be in. People would and it was like 20 minutes for time at Campbell Court. top got not the whole line. You cannot wander through. And then even during lunchtime, like they need to know where you are at all times in case you're shooting. And then even during lunchtime, you have certain tables where you can sit. So approximately 20 yards away from you. You're at a packed spot. When you finish your lunch, you just get up and play. You gotta wait until the full 20 minutes of eating your lunch and dinner thing. And then you're escorted by one of the security guards and one of the lunch people staff too. No, but it was like so we had one class, and then we had a computer lab and a science lab. And then we had a library. Because it was all funded in the different areas. Stuff like this is the thing. And the people over there, they're a lot nicer than the people. Like, because it was a very diverse area, you know, Hispanic, African American, all that very nice. Yeah. Some were pretty crazy. Like freaking car. Out of the individual there's someone like cross my eyes out and just stares out and like stabs the paper. And she's like, yeah, what did I do to you? That's scary. The teachers are not nice. They're not nice. So, okay, past second grade, it was third grade and fourth and fifth grade. But we only want to push it through. No, the middle school teachers are the worst. In middle school, every single thing was a bad thing. So, like, when I was in 7th grade, like, and my math teacher was part of the LA Youth so she was trying to support one time she was giving her a really hard time. So she found a chair, and you know how like in those portables, it was in a portable, but I don't know where she was. But in the portable, like you have a brand and lots of so she had put a chair in front of the door on the ramp until we could sit there all the class. While there was a class inside, the kids running into the class, closing the door, walking it, and fall on each other. It was probably her first time being and he's on the floor, and the teacher's like, hey, she's like, why are you doing it? And he's like, there's an active shooter outside. And then he's there for like, all that. And he was alive. But my aunt and my mom was really talking. My aunt and my mom were really talking. I'm ready to go out. And no, also, like, each time my uncle would come to me, because the first time it was that time someone like grabbed your school tickets and got it on the day. And I ran through school and got locked up. And we cried together. We were crying together. Yeah. And we were like, which one was pretty good. It's okay. Personal self-defense. So whoever walks that door, I'm gonna rush them. It's like he's holding it with cold on. And then second time, it was like first the fire alarm stopped working. And then the yogurt lamp. Yeah, the yogurt lamp. Yeah. You're off the yogurt lamp and we're at first school. Yeah. I don't know why we believe that. I know. And then so the fire alarm was working, and then my uncle picked me up early. And then the third time that happened was stabbing.
heard there was someone who's already camping off in the park.
Yeah. No, there was like a game part where it was like, you're in school, come on, dude. Like,
And then we had another lockdown when
I think it was the yoga one where they didn't actually. Yeah, it was like a domestic dispute. Like so, I think it was some student or something. I don't know, but it was some like 5 people house. So it wasn't really like fighting. I think it was a student.
and then all of a sudden it happened after hours too. Like people have died in that park. Or after this, or one to that.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
oh yeah, but that was.
As you all finish your food, I would like to thank you all on behalf of ISOC, MYG, AMP, and the Zakat Foundation of America. Inshallah, I will not be forgetting. Before we finish the event and go pray Salat al-Maghrib, we will finish off with a dua by Brother Ahmad and Nicole.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Jazakumullah khair. May Allah bless you. May Allah bless your families. Jazakumullah khair for attending. Jazakumullah khair for this beautiful evening. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from all of us. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from you. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us a reason, a cause to ease the suffering of for our brothers and sisters in Gaza and all around the world who is suffering. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to use us for His deen. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us those people who are always there to help and always there to support. اللهم تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم وتب علينا انك انت التواب الرحيم. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا ولازواجنا ولذرياتنا ولاهلينا ولاصحابنا ولطلبتنا ولمعلمينا ولمن اوصانا واستوصانا بدعاء الخير ولمن له حق علينا. اللهم انا نسالك من الخير فوق ما نرجو ونعوذ بك من الشر فوق ما نحذر. اللهم انا نعوذ برضاك من سخطك وبمعافاتك من عقوبتك وبك منك لا نحصي ثناء عليك ولو حرصنا انت كما اثنيت على نفسك. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى اله واصحابه وازواجه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. جزاك الله خير.
Rahman. Alright, Rahman, yalla.
Yeah.
We're done.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Alright,
I'm
yalla.
looking for my cheese.